Thank you, Mark, and a big hello from London. Last week saw a reasonable amount of weekly technical patterns, but the immediate results have been, let's just say, less than satisfactory so far. In the currencies, we had a weekly key reversal up in the Aussie dollar against the US dollar, and weekly key reversals down in US dollar against the Canadian dollar, if only just, and also in the US dollar Swedish krona. None of them, up or down, had any follow through so far this week. And the only positive thing you could take away from all three is that prices are still within last week's range, at least so far this week. However, on US dollar Indonesian rupee, we have seen a follow through lower this week after last week's weekly key reversal down. This is despite the limited trading early this week due to the start of Ramadan. In the crosses, we had the one in the markets I follow, and that was a weekly key reversal down in the Euro Polish Zloty, which also has seen a satisfactory move lower this week, making new lows not seen since March 2020. In the NDFs, the non-deliverable forwards on foreign exchange, we had a weekly key reversal up in the US dollar against Egyptian pound 1 year NDF last week, which has seen relatively limited action this week in comparison to last week, though on balance prices are seemingly higher than last Friday's close, but not by much. All this is in the shadow of last week's all-time high at 50.238. This now brings me to China and the yuan, a currency that I have been commentating upon quite a bit in recent times, both here and in my daily Forex video commentaries. This time the actions were unanimous, if unfulfilling. We had weekly key reversals down last week. In the spot USD CNY, the onshore Chinese yuan, if only just. In the USD CNY 1 month NDF, and in the USD CNY 1 year NDF. The resultant effects this week have been varied, but probably best seen as a follow-on lower in the 1 year NDF. Elsewhere, we had the unusual situation of a weekly key reversal down last week in the UK FTSE stock index futures, but at the same time, a weekly key reversal up in the French CAC40 stock index futures. Now, on balance, the French CAC40 futures were the better follow-on, moving higher this week. Finally, in the commodities, we had a weekly key reversal up last week in LME 3-month lead, which has seen a pretty good follow-on higher this week. I deal more fully in this metal in my metals video commentaries published yesterday. The other commodity that saw a weekly pattern was a weekly key reversal down in the EEX German power-based month future. This has seen a complete failure to launch this week, with the market instead moving down to test the lows of February. That's typical. As always, I'm happy to answer any direct questions of anyone who is interested, and with that I'll finish this section from London, and I hope that you found these comments useful.
Thank you for listening. This weekly broadcast gives the essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and at the back of this broadcast. Copyright is Eddie Toftpick and ADM Investor Service International Limited. And here comes the final important bit.